And hello, Mummy fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment. With me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and movie review for the brand new Lee Cronin film, The Mummy. No relations to the the Tom Cruise Mummy movie or the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, including the new one that's coming out next year. And yes, again, another Mummy movie. Yes, The Mummy is public domain, folks. Anybody can make a Mummy movie. You can make one. I can make one. Anybody can make a Mummy movie along with the Wolfman and all the other characters out there from Universal. But Universal reigns supreme when it comes to those movies. Sometimes they do bad jobs with them, but still, I think they do a better job than other studios. Okay. So this version of The Mummy tells the story of a young girl named Katie. I think it's Katie. Either way, she disappears. Her and her family living in Egypt. She disappears, and they're trying to figure out what the heck happened to her. Years go by, nothing happens until one day they get a phone call saying, "Hey, we found your daughter." Unfortunately, she was in a freaking sarcophagus for like 8 years or whatever it was, and she's not herself. And she literally does not. She even looks like she does not look like herself. And when you see this movie, it's like you kind of feel sorry for the little girl. And by the way, this girl, to me, I think she's like a new actor that they literally just found for this movie. She did a phenomenal job playing this character. I thought she did a really, really good job of, pretending, acting to be like the mummy and all that stuff. I thought she did a really good job. So there's that. So the parents take her home, and, her brother's growing up now that she hasn't seen in a couple of years since she's been gone. She got a new baby sister. Alexa, stop. She got a new baby sister. Sorry about that. She got a baby sister, and she's at the right age now, so that's to understand what happened to her. But as soon as Katie gets home, stuff starts to happen. Bad stuff starts to happen, and for some weird reason, this movie turns into The Exorcist. That's right, The Exorcist, because this girl got possessed by something, and it ain't nice, and it ain't, and it ain't like no mummy curse we've seen in other movies and other iterations. It's something spiritual, but also diabolical as well. So, yeah, this poor kid had to go through a lot in this movie. You just see her all decayed and all that stuff. The family has no clue how to help her. There's this cop from Egypt who ends up coming up and helping him out. And then there's a scene in this. There's like no joke. There's a scene in this movie where, the little girl as the mummy doing her thing, and something happens to this cop. Which I'm like, okay, normally in other movies like this, cop's dead easily. This cop, I have no idea how the heck she survived this, but I'm like, okay, fine, okay, whatever. So yeah, that's basically the gist of this film. How is it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it confusing? It's all of this stuff. There are some cool stuff in here that I liked. Obviously, seeing this exorcist mummy kind of a character, I thought that was interesting. Something different, a little new flavor to the old recipe known as the Mummy franchise that we've seen time and time again, and we'll always continue seeing more Mummy movies in the next 1,000 times and times again. But add a new flavor to it, I guess, cool. But I felt like they kind of tried too hard. It's like taking two sandwiches, putting it together, and all the stuff that's in between just falls apart because you have two different sandwiches that's supposed to be two separate sandwiches, and you decide to put it together, and when you take a bite, you know it's going to drip. That's exactly what this movie was. It was The Mummy, and it was The Exorcist, and it was squished together as one movie, and then it just fell apart, in my opinion. Yeah, there were some cool shots, sure, but it was also too much of the, yeah, look at all this gore, look at all this blood, look at all this, bone crunching and all that stuff. It's like, okay. Creepy stuff, ouch, that would hurt, ow, ooh, make me want to vomit, sure. But, you can only get too much of that stuff to it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you really trying to make like another Exorcist and try to make it right. Heck, and making a new Exorcist right now with Scarlett Johansson. Who the heck knows how that turns out? We'll see next year. But they really tried a little too hard of taking two different properties, mashing them together and see if it actually sticks on the wall. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it did. I personally, I'm not a fan of this movie. You know, after last year when we had a great year for horror movies, including the great Sinners and of course the great Weapons, you figured, okay, new Mummy movie, kind of making more spooky, cool. Nah, it was just they try way too hard. I appreciate them trying. I get that. I appreciate that because you know what, taking an old school recipe like the Mummy or the Wolfman or whatever, it's hard to reimagine it for modern screens, and then hopefully it sticks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But this one, it didn't work for me. The family to me, I thought was kind of clueless in the whole movie. The kids were the kids, but you know whatever. But the little girl was the best part of this movie because she stood out really well. She even has there's an Easter egg in here. If you're old school and you like old school Hollywood, there's an old school 1940s Mummy Easter egg in here, and then I saw him like, oh, that's cool. That's a great scene. If you see it, awesome. If you don't, you know, it's a really cool little quick scene, but if you can capture it, like, oh wow, I think that's what he's talking about. Good on you, good eye. But yeah, overall, this movie was just whatever. You know, I really hope that you know, if other studios want to take a crack at these kind of characters, they should take a look at what Universal's been doing so far with their movies. You know, when Universal came out with the whole Dark Universe stuff, didn't work out for them. They tried the Mummy, make it the new Brendan Fraser action movie with Tom Cruise, did not work at all. Then they went back to the drawing board. They made The Invisible Man about a guy who's stalking his ex. Creepy as hell. That was a great movie. Then The Wolfman came out about a story about a guy getting bit and becoming, you know, kind of like having rabies, but what would he do if he transformed into a monster that even he can't control? That movie was great too. So, you know, taking these classic monsters and making them to modern, you can't make it work. It's just that, you know, you gotta try a little bit harder without trying too hard, you know? And I thought this movie was just a little too hard. But, you know, that's my opinion. If you guys go watch this movie and you guys enjoyed it, awesome. If you like that kind of stuff, where it's like two movies in one and you kind of like the whole blending of it, awesome. But if you don't and you agree with me, cool too. So, you know, no judgment here. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about the new Mummy. Did you guys enjoy it? Not enjoy it? Whatever it is, leave me a comment below. And also, let me know what your favorite Mummy movie is of all time. The original 40s version, the Brendan Fraser universe, like the Tom Cruise one. I think there's another Mummy movie somewhere. Either way, whatever it is, what's your favorite horror movie? Classic horror monster movie. Mine's just Dracula, always, forever. Then Frankenstein, especially Guillermo del Toro's. I think that movie is brilliant. But whatever it is, leave a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. And thank you very much. And have a good night.